Hello there, everybody. Hope you all are doing good out there today. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at another case knife. This knife has a very interesting story, to put it bluntly, because this is one of the knives that I ordered off the internet. Now, I generally pick my knives out used at pawn shops instead of buying them new on the internet, but this particular one, they had like $30 off of it. And I didn't have any like it, so I went ahead and ordered it. Well, when the package came, the package was open and there was nothing in it. And it looked like the package had somehow got ripped open in shipping and the knife fell out. So we ended up having to contact where we bought it from, and they sent another one without any problems. This knife is not new to me. I've had it for a few months. I put it back in the box for video reasons. It's always more exciting when you slide it out of the box. Nevertheless, this is a good knife, and this is a good EDC knife. And this is one of those knives that I think a lot of people who aren't real knife collectors would be happy just to have in their pocket every day. Just the way it looks. It's not too bold, it's not too simple, it's not too brash, it's just kind of a nice, charming medium. It looks nice, and it's practical, but it's not flamboyant. You can see here that this is going to be one of Case's stainless knives. We do not have our white carbon steel box. We got a regular case box here. Also, you can see when this knife was made. 12/16 of 22. Now, I received it last year, so the knife was 2 years old when I received it. But because it's 22, it's going to have an actual stamp on the tang instead of an etch. An etch really does not bother me as long as they do a good job etching it. You know, if that etch is good, deep, and dark, it doesn't bother me. I've buffed a knife with an etch on it enough to see that that etch isn't going to come off. But you can see right here what this knife's going to be. It's going to be a chestnut bone, smooth trapper. Now, most of Case's knives you're going to find have an jigging pattern on them, especially their bone knives. They do some smooth knives, but most of theirs are going to be textured. I'll pull out a textured trapper in a minute to compare it. But this right here, like I said, it's the only one I have with this kind of bone on it. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful bone. It's kind of conservative-like. It's kind of simple-like. And it just has a good look to it. Well, now let's unroll him here. I'll show you what he looks like. There it is. Look at the bone on it. Don't it almost look like wood? That's what it reminds me of. Almost looks like wood. You've got these little spots and little grains in it. Almost looks like wood. And the backside, you can see it has kind of a different look to it. It has a lot of the grains, but they tend to be going down the middle of the knife rather than being all over it. But again, it looks like wood. I think a lot of people, without knowing better, would probably think it was wood. We've got the bolsters all shiny, as you can see. There's your back springs and your brass liners. All fits together good. Of course, this being a classic trapper, you're going to have your two blades. You're going to have your main clip point blade. Let me raise the camera here. You're going to have your main clip point blade. It's a handsome blade. Good snap. Again, any of you all out there who haven't used a regular trapper, one of Case's classic 54 pattern trappers, that clip blade is going to be one of the most useful blades you're going to ever find. It's got a good tip on it. You got plenty of meat on that blade to sharpen it over the years. The blade is a great slicer. I cut up a whole cabbage with one of these once. It's no problem at all. You got plenty of blade for whatever you might need to do. And I've done a test on the stainless, and their stainless steel performs really well. It's easy to sharpen, in my opinion, and it holds an edge really well. And that stainless, you can see, just looks great on here. With your nickel silver bolsters, your shiny stainless steel blade, your brass pins, and these smooth chestnut bone handles. There we can see our Tang stamp. You're going to have 4 dots on the bottom and 4 dots on the top. That makes this a 2022. And then, as with most traditional trappers, your secondary blade is going to be a spade blade. Again, has good snap. One thing I do like is those of you out there who have dealt with older trappers from like the 80s and 90s, a lot of them had more cant on the blade than the new ones. A lot of them would look something like that when the blade was opened, where now they're coming straight out of the handle. I kind of like it coming straight out a little better. How do y'all feel about that? Do you prefer a large cant on your blade, or do you like it to be more or less straight? I like the cant on the peanut, but I don't know, I don't really like it when I see it on a trapper. But anyways, any of the newer cases are going to have a straight spade blade. It's going to come straight out of the handle. The spade blade's about the same length as the main clip point blade. The only real differences you're going to encounter is the tip is not quite as sharp, and the spine is a lot thicker for harder use tasks. And that's why I think these two blades complement each other. You know, with the clip point, you're getting a good blade for piercing. With the spade blade, you're getting a better blade for hard use. On the same count, you know, sometimes, like if you're cutting into a box cutting tape, you don't want to worry about poking something on the inside. We'll use that spade blade for that. It's great for that. This blade's thicker in the sense of the blade stock, and this one is wider. So you'll have a wider blade here for cutting. Make the knife slicier and give you lots of resharpening over the years. And at the same time, the spade blade's a little thicker for your harder tasks. I usually sharpen my clip point blade up super sharp, and then I'll put a coarser edge on my spade blade there, and I'll use it for my harder tasks. Works out really well. These two blades do complement each other. Another thing I want to say that I like about the spade blade is that when you've got the main clip out, this spade blade is pretty flat, if you notice the top of it. So when you're holding it in your hand, it feels good. It's also a thick blade, as we said, so it feels good in the hand when you're holding this knife like this, whether it's in this position or in this position, whatever it is, that spade blade feels good. Now, I am saying that to contrast that with a Wharncliffe trapper. This is a case lizard skin Wharncliffe trapper. That's your Wharncliffe blade you're going to have instead of your spade blade. And when you have this knife opened up to the clip point, you can see there how it's the same knife. But nevertheless, this Wharncliffe blade, see how that sticks out of the handle? It rides a lot higher than the spade blade. And you can see how that sticks out of the handle. So that, to me, is not as comfortable to hold. It's not bad, but that is one thing that the spade blade has going in its favor. When you're using the clip point blade, it's more comfortable to hold in the hand. And I think most people will use the clip point blade probably 80% of the time at least on the full-size trapper. See if I can get this to focus. USA 6254. The 6 is referring to the bone handles here. From best I can tell, the 6 from case. Well, just to illustrate this point, the 6 can refer to a jigged Delrin material, as we'll see with this slimline trapper. It can also refer to a jigged wood material, and it can also refer to a jigged bone material, but it can also refer to a smooth bone. All of these knives, the material is counted as a 6. This one right here is in the brown Delrin. This is a Workman Series knife, a slimline trapper. And you'll see there that it is 61048. So this one is counted as a 6. And this is not bone. This jigged Sodbuster Jr. lizard skin you can see 6137. So this one is counted as a 6. Then this one right here is in what case? I think they call it their pack of wood. But it is wood, and you'll notice it's also 6.2, 6.5. So this is called a 6. And so from looking at those, you might say, well, it must be the jigging on the material. But then you look at this smooth bone trapper, and you realize that it's also a 6. So I believe the simplest way to understand that is 6 can refer to, let me try to get to focus. 6 can refer to any bone material, smooth or jigged, and any jigged material, whether it's plastic, wood, or bone. Let's compare a few knives now. One thing that I thought would be interesting was I was thinking that having this smooth bone might save some weight. My yellow trapper is one of my favorite knives, and it's a lot lighter than like my red warbone trapper. And so I was thinking this one would probably save some weight. But I'll show you how much it actually weighs here. I've got my scale. There we go. Let's get it turned on. Make sure we got it zeroed. Yep. So this yellow Delrin trapper is going to come in at 3.65 ounces. This red warbone trapper is going to come in at 3.90 ounces. So it weighs a considerable amount more. This blue bone trapper comes in at 4.0 ounces. And so we'll put them down here by weight. I expected this one to be closer to this yellow synthetic, but you can see it's 3.90. So this smooth brown chestnut weighs the same as your jigged red bone, which was kind of shocking to me. But they weigh the same amount nevertheless. I thought it would be a whole lot lighter. I don't really care how much it weighs. It's no problem to me that it weighs a little more than I expected. I just found it interesting. That Delrin, that is one thing we can say for it. The yellow Delrin really saves a lot of weight. That's for sure. So let's compare this knife to a few others before we end this video out. For those of you who are not extremely familiar with a full-size trapper, I'm going to lay a few knives by it. This is a mini trapper. You can see the full-size trapper is considerably larger than the mini trapper. And this is a slimline trapper. Again, the slimline trapper is narrower. It's a single blade, and it's just a little bit shorter when it comes to blade length also. And a few other popular knives to compare to the full-size trapper. We can throw in the Sodbuster Jr. You know, the Sodbuster Jr. is a popular knife pattern these days, and you can see it is considerably smaller than the full-size trapper. We'll throw in 2 more, and then we'll call her good. That right there is the full-size Sodbuster, and you can see that the trapper's handle is a lot smaller than the full-size Sodbuster's handle, but the cutting edges are pretty similar. If you line up the sharpened edge, they are pretty close. And lastly, we'll throw in one of my favorite small knives, and that of course is going to be the Peanut. Here's a Peanut by the Case Trapper. Peanut's a small knife, and the trapper is a pretty large knife. The full-size trapper comes in at 4 1/8 inches closed, and the sharpened edge comes in at around 3 inches. But yeah, that's my review of this Case smooth chestnut bone trapper. It's a good knife. I really like it. How do y'all feel about the smooth chestnut bone? How do you feel about full-size trapper? Comment down below. Y'all have a good day, and make sure you keep your knives sharp.